Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show.
That is a good photo of Josh.
Oh, okay, you're just seeing it.
Just it immediately showed up. So, oh, that's really good.
He
Right?
legit looks like one of the new kids on the block.
Totally, yeah. That looks like if it was just like the background was a normal like it was like a standard background for like photography, that could be a school photo. It could totally be like a glamour shot for a 90s TV show. It's one of the two, maybe both.
So what I did was, it's one of the backgrounds that I use when I'm just on like a basic, like I use my background here. Well, I'm just going to pull it to the front so you guys, legit called blank wall, right? What I called it. Right. Drag to front, Scott. Oh. Drag it to the front. Bam. It's literally just like an empty room with like a couple things on the wall or whatever. Like it looks like an empty apartment.
Yeah.
It just looks so sloppily thrown together. I love it. It looks so ghetto.
Awesome.
Oh
my goodness.
Poor Josh. Does he look like a G.I. Joe? Like
a little bit, yeah.
He looks like a new kid on the block.
I do agree with you, Doxy. I think he does look like a new kid on the block.
Which new kid?
But, Danny the most.
I think that's fair.
Danny Wahlberg.
I'm gonna just look up New Kids on the Block right now and just pull up a photo here.
See, he looks like he could bench Scott. I bet he could bench 220 in that picture. Sorry, 210. I weigh 210. But presumably I'm not naked. So, just wanted.
Looks like a Chippendale, like legit.
Oh, sorry, Doxy, are you uncomfortable?
By how wet I am.
You and I weigh the same, Scott.
What was that?
You and I weigh the same.
Wait, you weigh 210 pounds?
Well, 212.6 right now, but yeah.
I say 210 because I don't usually go over 210. I usually hover like 207, 208 is usually where it sits. But I honestly don't weigh myself very often. However, you're like 7 feet taller than me, you fucking monster. So, I mean, fucking beanpole.
I mean, I'm actually like in really good shape right now is what that is. So that helps. Being in quarantine, I have nothing to do but work out and work and go for walks for extended periods of time. So
I was gonna say, you must have put on, because I don't recall, because you weren't like.
I was 167 when you and I met.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, yeah. I don't recall you being muscular before. Not that you were like scrawny, but.
No, but I was
that makes
definitely.
Sense. Okay.
I had basically no fat on me before.
Yeah.
But now I have some fat. But no, I'm in much better shape now, and I'm actually able to eat like a normal human being to some extent and put on weight, which is exciting. So
I eat lots of ice cream and somehow just, poop it out. So
well, there you go.
Lucky for how old am I? 34. So 17 years of just eating lots of ice cream and not gaining weight.
There you go.
Okay. One day it's gonna all of a sudden go, I got diabetes, and it's not gonna be fun. So, not gonna be doing. Oh yeah, I lost an eye. Diabetes. Should really come. We went out for ice cream today, like tonight after Brittany got out of work. So yeah, and I won't lie. I'm thinking the freezer's not too far. There's ice cream in the freezer.
It's a big risk.
Not worth it. All right, so anyways, last session, before we talk about last session, every stream, always want to continue talking about a few different things that are important. So one of the things I do want to talk about is, while we cannot forgive Twitch for things that they've ignored in the past, or things that they've allowed to just kind of like let slide in the past, you do have to commend them for things that they have done well and how, we'll say quickly, they've acted. Since things erupted, I want to say on Saturday in America. I want to say it was Saturday. I didn't find out till Sunday. Things kind of blew up.
Worldwide, bud.
No. Well, the reason why I say Saturday in America is because like Australia would have been Sunday, right?
Gotcha.
So yeah. So I want to say Saturday over here. I think is when it started. I found out Sunday, and then by Wednesday they were already banned. I think they banned the first person technically on Tuesday. But I'm not positive on that one. There's still a lot of work to get done and whatnot, but the fact that they actually responded really quickly, have to commend them for that one. So that's awesome there. However, overall, let's not be shitty people. Let's not use positions of authority, power, whatever the fuck you want to call it, to take advantage of others to satisfy your own deviant delights. Not to kink shame. I mean, get it if you can. Not that way. You know what I mean? That's fucked up. However, pulling the attention over to the BLM movement, everything that's going on, I actually saw a protest today that I did not, I just did not know was happening. Britt, Rory, and I were driving home. Of course, nobody was wearing masks out of the two groups that I saw, which is unfortunate. But anyways, in Massachusetts, it's mandatory, but only if you're in certain settings. It's not mandatory if you're just hanging out. So, anyways, over by a police station / town hall or city hall of the city that I was in, we were driving and we were at a red light and we were looking at the corner and we're like, the fuck? It's those stupid fucking black and white flags, the blue line through it, and they got those stupid signs, stand with the police, and then we got confused because somebody started walking up to the group with a huge sign saying rapists for police, rapists for police. And we're like, what the fuck is that? We were so confused. Then we realized afterwards there was another protest directly across the street just because of the angling of where we were at the red light. There was a BLM protest that was across the street from them. So it was a huge BLM protest, and then there was a, well, I shouldn't say huge, I want to say maybe 100 people. BLM protest, and then there was a pro-police protest, it was maybe 75 people, right by town hall, city hall, and the police station. And one of the BLM protesters walked across the street with a sign just to troll them. And I had mixed feelings about it. So on one hand, I'm like, it's hilarious, you're trolling them. But on the other hand, I'm like, bad messaging. You know what I mean? That's not something you should be making jokes about. I don't know. But it was kind of funny in that regard. Anyways, the city I happen to be driving through is predominantly, demographic-wise, it's predominantly white city. So everybody that was out there was pretty much white, white and Latino, Hispanic, however you want to phrase that. And it was just nice to see that there was a good number of organizers or people that got together that was larger than the other group that we happened to go by and honk. It was just nice to see that a smaller city like that, that's kind of thrown out and away from, it's not going to hit the news or anything, but the fact that that was there, it's nice. It's nice that it's continuing to spread. It's nice that this continues to be pressure, so on and so forth. And they were doing it right outside the police station, which is, there's no way to avoid it when it's in your fucking face. You know what I mean? So, kudos to them on that one. I don't know if Doxy usually has something that she throws in on this. I don't know if there's anything else she wanted to say, but I don't know. It was kind of nice driving by and seeing that. I was surprised today. So.
I am excited to hear that there are small town operations happening. I really want to tell a quick story.
Please, yeah, go ahead.
That's okay. Okay, yeah. So
we're here, Doxy.
The other night, we have our chapter of Black Lives Matter, the closest one to us is in Chicago. So we have a Black Lives Matter sanctioned group called the Iowa Freedom Riders. And they have a few different activist networks that they interact with. And I'm in one of them, obviously. And they posted in that group that we were going to shut down the interstate again, because that's a thing that they've done a couple of nights, was shut down the interstate. And since there's been a mole in the group that's been reporting to these white supremacists that come to counter protest and try to incite violence and stuff, the white supremacist mole reported to the police that was the plan, so all of the state troopers went there, but that's not where the protest went. The protest actually went to a town 40 minutes away where our governor was staying, and protested outside the hotel that she was staying at, and I just loved every part of that.
That is awesome. That is beautiful.
One thing that I will say is that my privilege was just incredibly apparent to me on that night, because I was just sitting in my car with with like aid and like basic first aid, water, snacks, stuff like that for protesters. And I was just sitting in my car on my phone, and there was a soldier standing next to a bunch of police, and he pointed at me, and I was just sitting there in my car. And for the first time in my life, I was mortally afraid of a police officer. That was the first time in my 10 times years that I was ever scared for my life because of the police. It really like, and I like to think that I kind of have my finger on the pulse of this sort of thing, that I'm pretty culturally aware. But for it to have snapped even me into perspective like that, to know that that's just how a lot of people, by virtue of the color of their skin, feel every time they interact with police. It was just a real wake-up call. And it's like something that I was always aware of, but not something that I ever like had in the forefront of my mind, that I had ever experienced and been able to empathize before. You know what I mean? It was terrifying. I was like afraid to put my phone down. I was afraid to make any sudden movements. I was just like, okay, there is a soldier pointing at me, and like the police are looking at me in my car. And now the police know my car, so I'm kind of scared to go to the protests. It's all, man, you guys keep doing what you're doing. Keep supporting this fucking cause, because it's ridiculous that we have to have anything like this even going on in the year 2020. Just keep the energy alive. Keep in mind that progress and love always fucking win. We're on the right side of history.
I'm loving I keep seeing it pop up on Twitter. I don't spend a lot of time on Twitter, but I have been seeing it pop up on there. Did you hear what happened in Boston? I'm sure you know this post, Doxy?
Maybe.
So it's usually it gets posted with a hashtag Blue Lives Matter. That's how you post it, and then it's like a 2-image, because you know it's too much text to actually put in a tweet. And it's, did you hear what happened in Boston? Hashtag Blue Lives Matter. And you like read this message about like something that happened that ended up being, you know, a bunch of people died. First person that was you know, by the police officers was an African American person, so on and so forth. Anyways, so it's this whole thing that it talks about, and it's like, if you at any point in time during the story sided with the police, I just wanted to let you know then that you are literally un-American, because this is a reference to the Boston Massacre back in 1770 that helped to spark the American Revolution. And it was just like, if you read it, because the way it's written so perfectly as to describe how things are going on right now. Mm-hmm. But obviously it's just a reference to history. So I'm sure this has been floating around the internet for many, many years. And I
actually haven't seen it.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
It's really good. So did you hear what happened in Boston? And you like read it. It was one of those like, oh, I like that, because I know people. Then I'm like, I'm gonna send this to them. You know what I mean? Just because again, while it's no rapists for police sign, it is a good way to troll people that are on the other side. Because the reason why I say it's a good way to troll them as opposed to that side is because it actually gets them thinking like, oh yeah, My reference is usually to bring up Labor Day, the real Labor Day, in May 1st, as opposed to the fake Labor Day we have, which is like September 3rd or some shit. But anyways, cool. Hi guys, came here for some Dungeons and Nope. We don't play Dungeons and Dragons here.
I'm addressing this. Somebody in chat says, please don't say you're on the right side of history. It's dangerous thinking. I am provably on the right side of history. If you think that racism and white supremacy is the right side of history, then I don't care what you think about what I think.
I think the comment there, and I could be mistaken, let this person speak for themselves, is that phrase is a phrase that's used on both sides and just kind of like removes, you know what I mean? Like, because the phrase being on the right side of history, that's just a phrase that's just too generic and is easily used on both sides. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I've seen it be on the right side of history in reference to very conservative thinking many, 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 many times, especially considering they're referred to as the right and we're referred to as the left. So being on the right side of history. Anyways, that's just my perspective.
I genuinely don't care. If anybody wants to dispute me saying that the Black Lives Matter movement is
the right side, yeah, I'm not gonna dispute it.
Like, yeah, if anybody wants to dispute that, then I just don't fucking care what they think, starting right then and there.
I don't. Hopefully, nobody in this community thinks that it's not important. But
Yeah, I speak for myself, not for Scott, by the way.
no, you're good. Good.
Speak for me
I
too,
also
though.
I
Just to
believe
be clear.
I believe that it is in fact the right side of history to abolish all systemic racism. Are you going to get rid of racism out of every person in the history of the future? No, it's not going to happen. There are shitty people that will always exist that have different views and whatever, and they're entitled to those bad views. But just to get rid of the systemic racism. That's the goal here. I don't believe in mind control. I do believe in equality. So, you know, you're allowed to have
really
terrible thoughts.
astutely put. That's really astutely put.
Yeah. Anyways, so, moving on.
Let's play video games.
I don't play video games because, like,
That's why we're playing video games, Scott.
Video games, indeed.
It's a video game.
Video games.
Video game, yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
We're here.
Anyways, it's board games, sort of. Tabletop role-playing games. But yeah, you're right, not D&D, though, weirdly. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
We're playing Fantasy Age. It's the age of fantasy. The time when everything goes right. Unless, you know, you're building that you're just like chilling in, just trying to like smoke a doobie or something. Happens, you know,
it gets
go
really
up in
warm real
flames.
quick. Yeah.
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 Did Laszlo get out? Yai?
Yeah.
Yai? He'll be fine.
He made it. He made it. It's fine.
So,
Look, I jumped off a roof last time with 2 people in my arms, and only one of them died from the fall. All right? That's pretty good.
Now,
did Josh
don't
fall off
be
the roof?
sad,
He did.
'cause
Yeah,
you
Josh
had
did
a
fall off the roof, yeah.
dream ain't sad.
But Mallory caught him.
I did. I caught him.
Hey, nobody was there to catch me when I fell, so
You leapt.
I
There's
did
a
leap.
difference.
I leapt, I tumbled, I crunched a man's neck, and then one of them lived. It was fine.
All right, so when last we left off, you guys had last session was legit just a whole fight. The entire time was a fight. But it wasn't an easy one. I mean, they planned. You know what I mean? Maybe they were watching you, whatever the case may be, but they planned on your on not having you walk away from that scenario. They literally opened the fight. They literally opened the fight. Sorry, it sounds like Brittany's dancing up there. Dancing by herself. And they literally opened the fight with boarding off all of the windows on you. And then they quickly boarded off the doors too, while igniting the place on fire and fanning those flames, getting explosives in there to really get this place to burn down. And I mean, I won't lie. For a minute there, I thought I was gonna claim a PC life. I was a little less worried about Oscar, but he got fucking close too. I thought I was gonna get either Laszlo or Doxy because Oscar wasn't outside. He was inside and the fight was outside. We had one person, chat, think about that. We had one lone hero that was able to hold him at bay. One guy for like countless
He's got a
sessions.
broken neck now, so.
Oh, he did.
He did.
but I mean, that was.
I tried to save him.
One of those. Huh?
I tried to save him.
He did, yeah. Well, he also fought. I mean, despite the conversation, he actually fought pretty rough. Like, it was one of those, like, I can appreciate your skill here.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you guys inevitably beat them, just barely. Laszlo is all messed up, and so it's one of those things where Laszlo is. Hold on one second.
You ever go to drink water, and then as you take a sip, the rest falls back down to the base, and it just
And then
splashes
splashes
water
you
in
in the
your
face?
entire face? Yeah.
All the fucking time.
Yeah, well, it went right up my nose. Right up my nose this time. That's the problem with having a big old nose. I don't know if we're muted or not. Are we muted?
I don't know.
We're not. Okay. So hello, chat.
Sorry.
It's okay.
That's okay.
Apparently, Brittany's trying to find Rory's, we call it Linus. It's a blanket she's had since she was born with a bear's head on it. Named it Linus, because...
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Peanuts.
Yeah. So she was trying to find it. So, she came to ask me. I was like, typical dad answer. I don't know. When she woke up, I was in this room. I don't know. Sorry, what was I getting at?
Laszlo.
Sorry. So Laszlo
Very
is
good.
really messed up. So while I know that you were able to save a couple of lives, most importantly, the life of that caster, that, you know, kind of short, deep voiced human, that has like the stone magic, you were able to save his life, and I know you want to question him. But Laszlo's not going to be able to be there for the interrogation. He is hurt. So he's going to need to, I mean, think about the last time Laszlo took these kind of injuries. So he's going to need time to like rest and relax and so on and so forth. I also know that while you did get the city guard to come and others to come and help put out the fires of the house, you also wanted to check on, what's her name?
Lady Daelric.
Grayris. Yeah, because
Lady
you're hoping that
Grayris.
her house doesn't look like this as well.
Yeah.
So,
Lady Gray area.
Yep, that's fair. Fair assessment, honestly.
so I imagine the two of you are going to want to do these things together. First, check on Grayris, and then investigate that guy, right?
Yeah, so the guards took them into custody after all that, and they're now at the guard station,
Yeah.
I guess. So
Mhm.
yeah. So yeah, I mean the next step is to go and check on Lady Gray. I don't think we've rested or anything either in the interim here, right?
No, you have not. And quick question about her. You gave her a warning you expected a fight tonight when you
Yep.
sent her another. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So I
we
thought.
said we told her to go home safely
Mhm.
and quickly.
All the staff are with her.
Yeah.
So, no, not with her, but removed from your property.
Removed
Yeah.
from-
I thought they were with her.
No, we just told them to take the day.
Yeah. They
gonna
weren't having a
come.
sleepover. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So when you go
Um,
to investigate her house,
Mhm.
pretty quickly it's alarming. Clearly that place has been broken into as well. And obviously, of course, we'll get the guards involved immediately. So clearly the place has been broken into, not stoned up, not set on fire, nothing like that. We
Okay.
definitely was broken into. To investigate the area, you guys just need to roll me an investigation check. I do not currently have
Intelligence,
that.
I think.
I believe it's in. No, that's
Hold on, let me pull up the cheat
There's
sheet.
two ways. There's charisma investigation or communications investigation. Then there's the other one.
Yeah, so the communications one is investigation straight. Intelligence, I guess, is evaluation.
Evaluation. There we go.
Right.
So I don't know if maybe Doxy's gonna go ask people while you search around or whatever it might be.
I guess either one of these I'm bad at by
Okay.
comparison.
I'm good at
so-
both of them, so whatever's fine. Whatever you want. If you want me to do intelligence, fine. If you want me to do communication.
I'm gonna be better at intelligence than I am at.
All right, why don't you roll an intelligence and I'll roll a communication? Because I feel like Chrisellen would be better at like.
asking around, and Oscar would
yeah.
probably look through stuff. So I think that's reasonable. You got a 20. All right. I'm happy with my 13 because that's not getting any better. So I'm good with that.
So you I mean honestly the 13 is not bad at all. So walking in and investigating the area, you're able to see that the place was kind of like, flipped through, that they did go searching through the area. That
Yeah.
it seems to be all the doors were opened up, the whole place is opened up, but honestly you get the impression it doesn't look like anything was stolen. It doesn't look like anything was taken.
They
Just-
didn't really find what they were looking for here.
Yeah, the place was just
Okay.
searched through, right?
Okay.
Doxy, you're actually able to find out by people that, of course, heard the ruckus going inside the building. That not only, I mean, that's 4 stun points. That's beautiful. Do you actually want to use that? That's Sorry, before I give you answers, did you want to use your 4 stunt on exploration first?
Let me take a look here. Okay. Exploration, 4 points. Let's do with a flourish.
The flourish, which was
the manner of your success is impressive to those who are nearby to watch it. You have a +1 bonus to oppose tests against them until the time or venue changes.
Cool. So, more or less, you are able to talk to the people. You leave a good impression with them, which is nice. But what they were able to inform you is that they do recall, like, yeah, there's a lot of noise going on. We saw 3 people leave, but they didn't leave with anybody else. She wasn't in there. A little bit further investigation, Doxy, kind of like talking to them some more. Well, where would somebody stay, and so on and so forth. You're actually able to get some direction, following that a little bit further. Maybe waiting for Oscar to confirm what you had heard from people outside, and then actually walking with you, so you're not walking through the streets alone. You're able to discover that she was smart enough not to stay in her house last night or this night. It's very, very. She actually was staying at an inn for the night to make sure that she was safe. Excuse me. You do know that with your investigation even further, when you tried to find out like what inn she was in, again you got a 20, a really good check. We tried to find out what inn she was in. You actually tried to find out, and the innkeeper themselves was lying to you. You later on, by a little bit of pressure, so on and so forth, discovered the reason why they were lying to you is because she actually explicitly paid them additional gold just to pretend like she was never there. So if anybody asks. But obviously you were able to kind of like show that you were on her side and were able to prove your importance, which is why they eventually divulged and gave it up to you that she was here. So she actually had not stayed the night at home, stayed at an inn, and paid the innkeeper to keep it quiet. The innkeeper did inform you that somebody else did come through looking for her as well, but they turned them away. Inquiring what the people looked like, it was 2 people, young men. I honestly didn't get a very good description. So what you got out of it, leading you to believe it very easily could have been those that assaulted you earlier. But you are able to find her up in her room, if you would like to. If you immediately knock on the door, you don't hear a response. Could be because she's sleeping. Up to you as to whether or not you want to check any beyond that.
I would say it's Luthera.
So when you like knock again to make sure that she actually wakes up enough to respond, you say it's Luthera, she will say, she'll actually come over and open the door for you.
May I enter?
She does one of those, holds the door, fairly closed, but technically open. You can clearly tell that she's wearing a nightgown. And she says, it gives Oscar a look and looks back to you and says, I don't know if right now is the appropriate time. Did things work out all right, or did they ever assault you? I assume so, since you're calling to me.
With a loose definition of all right, things worked out all right.
What happened?
Perhaps meet me down at a table when you're ready.
It's one of those things that's like, oh God, it's the middle of the night. She says, why don't you just give me a short while and then you can come. And she will actually close the door for her. It takes a minute to get ready, right? So she hold her. We saw like 12 minutes or so before finally she's able to come over and to open the door up and let you guys in. She's dressed. Not very well because she did it quickly, but she's actually dressed. Shoes and everything. And opens the door up for you to come in. I apologize for the wait. Please come in.
I apologize for the disturbance, but both of your homes are a little worse for wear.
I apologize for my smell right now. I smell like smoke currently.
MBO.
Very much so. Yeah, that's
she actually says, please don't. It's delightful. Like firewood in the winter.
Oh, it's one benefit, I suppose.
Your home was broken into. The estate was set ablaze. We were able to save much of it, but there is extensive damage.
I believe Laszlo said before he went for a nap, he was a little bit worse for wear, that the library in particular was damaged.
Unfortunate. It's where we were going to continue our research. They broke into my home.
Didn't take
ransacked
anything.
It was a good thing that I spent the evening here then.
I think so. It seems like they didn't find what they were looking for. They looked through things, but didn't seem like anything was taken.
Good, I suppose. Another mess to clean up. And the servants, all of them are...
They weren't at the house, so...
Good. It's wise to send them home for the... Dare I say that two of you do look a bit worse for wear. Nothing too grievous?
Room before the night is out.
Nothing too grievous. Not this time.
Is there any way I can be of aid or assistance this evening? Or...
I just figured you might want to go and look through your things, and we would accompany you if you needed it.
We can also do that in the morning if you'd like.
If it's as displaced as you say, I'm not sure I'd be able to easily find myself candles or the like to properly sort through whatever's been trashed.
I did lock up the doors for you on my way out as well, as best I could. One of them was a little bit jammed in, I think.
You're not going to have to craft a new one, are you?
I don't think so. But
Just
you may
say-
want a locksmith.
She'll say, shame. You're such good work.
Oh, the manor, on the other hand, will take quite a bit of doing, and she
Yes.
elbows Oscar.
Yes, well, there's going to be probably at least, I mean, based on the extensive damage, we're talking hundreds of man-hours at this point to put that back in proper form.
But the
Well,
business remains untouched.
It's true.
I'm cutting out a lot. I'm actually going to be ordering an extension to this because of my setup that I currently have to make so my microphone can get closer than it currently is. As the way it all is, the microphone kind of is bumping into my stand that I have back there. So I will order that tonight, and we'll see how soon I can get that. Thank you. The name of the name is name. To make it better. I'll also turn off my sound gate because I think I have one on this one. I do turn off the sound gate, and that should make things a little bit smoother for you as well. Cool. Hopefully that works, and thank you for the heads up. Back to you guys. Well, we'll have to open up those books and everything else, ledgers and everything else. See how much coin we have to spare on reconstruction and see what we can do to make it work.
Okay.
Sorry again to disturb you in the middle of the night. I just didn't know if anything in your home was time sensitive.
No, it's fine. Again, I've spent so little time in my home, and when I left Adir to come here, it's not exactly like I brought anything with me. So, I suppose I don't have to worry too much about worldly belongings.
That should all soon change.
Well, thank you, I appreciate it. I will investigate this further in the morning. I'll
Another
meet you at
thing.
the manor on the hill.
One other thing, milady, going to have to bill the estate for a room because I am afraid that my purse is empty.
My what?
My purse is empty.
Again, I'm going to be fine. We'll be fine. Well, if you need to, just give authority downstairs. They are apparently already told you where I was, so good thing nobody else came calling.
Yes.
Somebody else did come calling, as a matter of fact. They were turned away.
But they let you through. I suppose I shouldn't have questioned that.
I can't believe I forgot to mention that. fight brain. Somebody did come looking for you, and it appears it might have been the people that led the assault.
At least it's been resolved.
There are 2 of them in custody. We were able to keep 2 of them alive. So we'll be performing some questioning at some point.
I'm sure the guards are going to want them anyways.
Yes, I just would like to question them sooner rather than later because I have a feeling that the guards are going to be a little bit less kind than we will.
Here's our plan. You sleep,
Yes.
and the rest of the plan we'll discuss outside.
I think that's a very good start.
We'll meet you for breakfast in the morning, in the inn.
I can meet you at the estate.
I'm afraid it will be of very little comfort, but okay.
We need to start going through the damages and seeing what we have.
It's going to be a big day, so I recommend taking comfort beforehand.
I've had months of rest prior, so I think I'll manage.
As you
Fair
wish.
enough.
So she will, so she will, head her, to go back to, get all undressed again, to go back to sleep. You guys gonna go to and do that investigation tonight?
I think we need to discuss it.
Yeah, Oscar,
Yes.
if you would like, I could organize rooms for the evening, and you can go and talk to the guards.
I at the very least need them to not kill those men tonight. That's, I think. They are the ones who orchestrated the death of 2 of their own. So it would be best at least to check and touch base and let them know that we need to question them extensively.
Right. I'll organize rooms.
Okay. I will be back within the hour, I think. Should be quick. I'm just going to tell them I don't expect them to listen to me, but I'm hoping it will at least stop them from killing them tonight. If it doesn't, then I'll just be investigating their bodies tomorrow.
If they give you any trouble, come back and get me.
Okay.
I have a gentler tongue.
You do. Mine is not as skilled as yours, at least in this particular practice.
Ha! Blowjob pantomime.
Anyways, yeah, so I'm gonna go to the guard station. I am gonna be on like relatively high alert tonight. So I'll be watching my 6, as it were.
Doc, she's not gonna go for the investigation of these people? That's fine, of
Well,
course, Jess.
I'm probably not actually going to investigate them tonight. I'm just going to go and tell the guards, hey, we're going to be coming in tomorrow at some point to investigate these people and have a conversation with them. Basically just trying to keep them from killing them tonight in case they decide to do a midnight execution. You know, just like to avoid those types of possibilities when, you know, people have been affected by loss, especially guards who have just lost 2 of their own. To people who shot fire that I kind of robbed them of killing. So, you know.
I heard you. Makes sense. Yeah. Cool. So you guys are going to, you're going to go and be there now. You're going to go and speak with them, correct? You're not just like going to hang out?
Yeah, I'm just going to go and say, hey, you know, tomorrow myself and the head of the 2 heads of the estate currently, the executrix and the what's the term for what Lady Greyrus is technically right now? Because she's not directly the inheritor yet, because that hasn't been determined, but she is.
Honestly, just a noble woman. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, I'm gonna say the executrix of the estate that was burned and a party who's helping us investigate will be coming in tomorrow to. Discuss with these individuals more details about what they were looking for and the intentions behind that in order to help protect the estate. So we just are letting you know ahead of time that we'll be coming in at some point during the day tomorrow, probably early afternoon, to investigate these individuals.
Okay. So you're going to go there, keep an eye on things, so on and so forth. just to communicate with the guards, to communicate with them well. You do have a good enough rapport with them because of what's going on. Oh, actually, when you guys are leaving the inn, one of the things that you notice as you're leaving the inn is that you see two what are they? What's the word I'm looking for? Yovance officers happen to be down there having a conversation with the innkeeper. Just really low DC perception check hearing, really quickly to hear the conversation that they're having.
Both of us, or
Yeah,
just
both of you,
Oscar?
because this is when you
Okay.
guys are going downstairs. Even while Doxy's just simply getting her room set up.
Oh, thank
Cool.
God.
So, and you don't have to worry about spending those stunt die. You get the impression that the two of them, Doxy more so than Oscar, but Oscar you catch them as well. That they just got in. I mean, it's the middle of the night. We're talking like it's 4 a.m. Right? They just got into town, and that they are literally just trying to get rooms for the two of them for this evening. You find out that they did come in with other soldiers as well, but the other soldiers were either stationed nearby, like a guard station, so that they can either take spots there or are actually spending time outside. So they're actually coming through with soldiers, but you don't know what they're for or anything. These are just the officers, and so they're actually coming to get more comfortable beds for them, right? But you do hear that based off the conversation they're having there, I mean, it looks like they're looking to crash for the night. They're just arriving, but no other glimpse of information. I don't know if you two press this at all or just swallow the information and move on.
Oscar certainly just swallows it and moves on, but
Yeah.
he probably like motions to it for Chrisellen in case that's something that she wants to interact with while he goes and has that conversation with the guard station.
What should we do with this information?
Oscar just kind of shrugs, says, "Might be good information to know where they came from, where they're going. Give us an idea of military movements."
All right.
Or anything else that they might divulge. Just good to be informed while we're in town here. That's all.
She approaches the soldiers.
The two officers that are there.
Or officers.
So to describe them for you, because it might be important. Both these officers happen to be male. One of them is much older in age. You can get by the impression by looking at them that this probably isn't somebody born from some higher ranking noble family or something like that, just easily handed the title. So they probably worked up and earned it. You know what I mean? Yovats is very, very, very strict caste system where it's very big on the bottom and very small on the top. This person was probably in that narrow edge between those two, and busted their ass to get to the rank that they have, right? You can kind of get that impression by clearly the work to look on them and the elevated age and the fact that they're still working, you know? The other person, the one that's next to them, while holding a much lesser rank, is also much younger in age. You can imagine it's probably somebody of a higher birth that was more given this position, but it's not like they were given an equal or higher position. Officers, sure, but lower rank than the one that you're dealing with. The actual full social, military structure of Yovance, you don't know it because it doesn't really matter all that much to you. You don't really deal with them. So, like, what rank they are doesn't necessarily matter. Anyways, you can walk up to them.
Yeah. Oscar, if he is watching, will notice her go from like head hanging, I don't want to do this, to just completely composed on the walk over.
He does notice that for sure, and it's like,
It's a masterpiece.
yeah, no,
Really.
he's confused is what he is right now.
She sways in such a way to hide the bloody spot on the side of her. Like, swing out, this is my good side tonight.
Gentlemen.
They'll both turn to you. The older one says, "Good evening." He looks very tired, of course, because what time of night it is. And the young one beams, "Hello."
Me too, on both accounts. Can I interest you in joining me for an ale before bed?
The older guy says, "It's a bit late and we have to continue marching tomorrow, but
We'll help
honestly,
you sleep deeper.
and it will indeed. little nightcap at the end of the long road. And the other younger one kind of like jumping in says, "Of course we will. Yes, yes, definitely will."
I have a small matter to deal with at the desk here,
Is it
but
a
I will join
William
you.
Poop?
I will join you at whichever table you so choose.
They both nod, and the older ones, the two of them start to walk away, but the younger one says, "Hold on one moment." Looks back at the innkeeper and says, "You know what? In fact, I will take that finer room. I can afford it, so there's no reason not to." And he clearly paying the difference, he tosses down like 3 extra gold and says, "For your time, of course. Sorry for the confusion." And then turns and walks back. He has his own little strut to him.
Oh, such a little peacocking boy. I love it.
And I'll lean on the desk and look at the innkeeper and say, "I'll need a round of ales and 2 rooms. Run-of-the-mill rooms will do. Built to the estate, please."
It's one of those things where there's a little bit of confusion. You explain it to them, it's all settled out, and he understands. So
All right, and she'll actually carry the ales over
sure.
and set them down in front of them and say, "This round's on me. If we have another, I suppose you can."
As you approach, the younger one's going to say, "Oh, come on. You're far too beautiful to be a barmaid."
"You honor me. It's been a rough day, and I needed that pick-me-up."
Indeed, it has. You're injured.
I just was hoping for some refined company before heading to bed for the evening.
You smell of fire. You look disheveled. You have an injury. And we saw the lights in the skies as we approached the city. Were
Yeah,
you
that was
involved?
me and mine.
What transpired?
Some sort of kerfuffle. I don't know. It was between the menfolk, really. But the estate that I was staying at, I got caught in a house fire.
How did you come to get injured?
Wantonero.
It's foolish. They weren't hunting for you, were they?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, rest assured, if any of them are still about, with the two of us, being a very well-trained guard myself, being in the inn with you, you will be safe.
I feel I will rest much easier tonight knowing this.
Of course. Which room did you get at? I imagine the closer you are, the safer I can keep you.
uh, uh, she'll tell him her room number.
He's like, "I'll make sure I keep an eye open." And he
Although I
he looks
imagine-
tired too, but he's being perky.
Although I
like Scott
imagine
every day.
my men made short work of them.
The older one chimes in and says, "Your men, hired guard or?"
As you say, I am far too beautiful to be a barmaid. No? The name's Luthera.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Luthera. And again, I'm sorry. These are hired guards of yours.
Hired guards of my father's, hired to protect me.
I understand, of course. Well, hopefully, nothing ill comes of you. You're not from the city, I imagine. Otherwise, your father probably would have directly been involved.
The capital.
Oh, travel very far to the north. What brings you up here?
Wine deliveries. You've had Luther wine, surely.
Honestly, if it's poured for me, I'll drink it. So I don't tend to waste time looking at the label.
Oh, you'd
And-
remember Luther wine.
The younger one's like, "Oh, incredible wines those are. Delicious."
Oh,
It's made up.
oh, the poor soul.
He's like,
Trying so hard.
He's like, "Delicious wines. Let me inform you." But honestly, if I must say, you happen to be fortunate. In your age, you would have missed out on the finer wines because they only just came to their proper vintage. or some shit.
Sometimes I stomp the grapes myself.
I'm gonna refrain from like foot comments since last night we were talking about buying onlyfeet.com.
She's putting it in his head on purpose.
Oh yeah. Literally, Mike and I last night realized that onlyfeet.com is you could purchase it. And no. It's an open domain. You can purchase it.
You could do it, Scott.
And with
I'm just saying, it's
OnlyFans
something you
jumping
could
up,
do.
onlyfeet.com, come on, there's a money opportunity here. Doxy's like, Will, you want to go on another business adventure together?
I don't have the money to run 2 businesses at once. I'll be frank with you. That's just not.
Oh. Anyways.
So which direction are you headed from?
We are being pulled in from the south as well, heading to the north.
Where in the north? I wonder if our travels will lead us in the same direction. Refined company on the road is so hard to come by.
We'll be traveling to the tri county, tri country, so the Tricon area is what we'll refer to it as. So
we call it the Fork.
The Fork, which is where Amalta, Yovance, and what's the other one there? Ascaria all meet one another. I'm sorry. So you say, oh, we call it the Fork. He goes, oh, do you? Well, the Tricon area, we'll be heading over there. We have matters to attend to.
Fights?
He goes, hopefully not. We'll see how things go. And
is there much unrest? I haven't heard much about the war lately.
So why don't you actually roll me you're trying to glean information from them. You're going to roll me a communication. So obviously the younger one is more willing to speak than the older one. But it's going to be, hold on, communications. This is investigation, really.
Okay.
Okay. Are you happy with your 13, Foxy?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
I mean, they're
so with your 13, the older guy, when you said is there much, blah, 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 the older soldier here says, did my mouse just die? Okay. Just disconnected from being wireless for a second. That was weird. So the older soldier says, the older officer says, it's, matters of the, yes, there is. In fact, there is unfortunate news indeed. Being backstabbed by your allies is something that needs to be handled and handled quickly. That's why, of course, I was set here. My father and he says, my family, not my father. He says, my family happens to offer to the nation many soldiers, and we're bringing them to appropriately handle what has been transpiring.
Which family is that?
My family name is Seldivin. Seldivin. Seldvin. Seldivin.
Oh, I don't have my notes open. 1 second. So sorry.
You're fine.
I'm the worst. Edit.
Okay. And he'll actually extend his hands to officially greet you because he hadn't done so beforehand. He says,
"Can you spell Seldivin one more time?"
I'm actually going to copy and paste it into chat. Seldivin.
Perfect.
It's actually Frederick Seldivin.
Are you adding him to our group persons of interest?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
He's listed as horny soldier.
Easy to remember. Look, sometimes our notes are very straight.
Soldier.
They're very straight up. We tend to for the
horny
most
soldier. That just made me happy.
I mean, look, Ka's note is pretty rough as well, to be honest.
Just what are the last 2 letters? Is it AN?
IN.
It's in
IN.
It's in Twitch chat as well.
It's in Twitch chat, yeah. I put it
Okay. And is this a name that Chrysalin has heard before?
Actually, that's a really good question. Why don't you roll me a cultural history check, which is intelligence, I believe. That is a good roll. Give for me a moment, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they are. It is a family of importance that is from. So if you're looking at what map are you guys on, just so you guys can see it. You're
No
not on
map
any
whatsoever.
right?
No map currently.
So if you're looking at the map of Yovance, and this is in chat, I think you can command maps or something like that to be able to see the whole map. If you're looking at the map of Yovance and you're actually looking down by, like, say, where the rivers are, you know that this family has its most influence in that area between the two primary rivers there, the two big rivers, south of
Right
the word
here?
Yovance. Yeah, so actually south
Oh,
of that
south.
even.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where it has most of its influence. It's going to be a major trade family. And they're actually, it's their responsibility to keep kind of that central area safe, secure.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's actually a family that has a lot of significance. You can imagine they took one of those rivers, which is funny because you'd think they'd take that river actually north, and then you see where the river branches off to the east and west. You'd think they would take the western river to get closer to that, fork or Tricon area.
We're talking about like right here, right?
Correct. Yeah. So you'd imagine they should have gone, like, if they're from down here, like, oh, okay, gone up this river and then gone over here, right? But for some reason, they went up and they actually went up this river over here, which makes you believe that maybe he's not being entirely honest.
Sure. Looks like I have some seducing to do. Okay. Oh, Selvin. I've heard of you. Yes, I think that my father tried to marry my elder sister off to one of yours.
Sorry, elder sister. To one of yours, gotcha. He says, I wouldn't know, but I'm sure that anybody who's related to you would have been a wonderful marry. Why did it turn sour?
She died.
Yeesh. Well, wrong place, wrong time, right?
Indeed.
Wrong place, wrong time, Indeed. So, luckily, such things didn't happen to you, and of course, we'll see to it that you make it through this evening. I imagine many more to come.
And it has opened my eyes to the fact that life is short and we must take delight in many pleasures while we're here.
That's a seduction roll, which is communications.
Sure.
Man, they really told you they were traveling north and then said they were going southwest.
They were traveling north.
I think I get to re-roll that.
Is that the one that you get to re-roll once a session or whatever it is?
Yeah, I think so. Hold on. Let me look.
Do I not have a map one set up? Chat? But I do have you do have this apparently. For big dick energy.
Good. That seems positive. That seems like what you need.
Son of a bitch. I do not get to reroll it.
I'll try lucking it then. It's worth lucking it. If you get 4 by just some strange happenstance, that changes this entirely, right? See?
So what do you say, Doxy?
What I said.
Oh, I don't.
I said it has opened my eyes to the fact that life is short and we must take delight in many pleasures while we're here. Or something to that effect.
It was basically that.
He says,
a couple words different.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear your, see here, whatever that line is that you, like, more or less an agreement. And the older one, who is maybe, here, that's what it is, thank you, here. The older one, who's maybe a third the way down with his drink, he'll, like, pick it up and he says, well, I'm not as young as I used to be, and it gets to my head a bit quicker than it has in the years past. Takes one more draw of the mug and says, I think perhaps it's time that I call it for the evening. As I said,
that man has class. Can I just say that man just stepped aside and
Yeah, are we sure these are the bad guys?
Like, hold on now. We need to reassess everything we've experienced in this campaign. Hold on. What? Sorry, please continue.
And so he will stand up. After that, he'll stand up and say, "Thank you for the drink. I truly appreciate it."
I'll give a low curtsy and say, "And thank you for being one of the delights."
And
she'll offer her hand for him to kiss even.
Yeah, he'll take it. He'll be he's practiced politeness, of course, and I don't mean that in a bad way. And so he absolutely does so, and then gives like a nod to the lower ranking soldier, and then goes to bed and disappears. Leaves you and the other gentleman behind. Yep.
I'll slide in next to the eager Frederick and sort of kind of like nuzzle into him a little and say, "Tell me more tales of your bravery."
He says, "I'd be more than happy to, but I have to say, I am genuinely concerned about the wounds that you seem to have suffered. If you'd like, I am trained as a medic on the field as well. I wouldn't mind seeing to them."
Can I?
Play doctor.
Can I?
Sorry.
Like,
I'm sorry, Scott.
Can I empathy that to see that he is actually good at healing? Can I empathy that?
Yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah.
To see what I can glean.
Yeah, you believe him. Absolutely. Now, did you want to use your stunt for anything?
No.
Yeah. So I mean, you believe him. No problems there. It's one of those things where
it is a little sore.
When you do assist him, you can imagine like while he's not lying, he also doesn't seem like the kind of person that's going to be offended. And this is what I'll give you for that 3. That's going to be offended if you lend assistance at the same time because you also have a degree of training. So he's not gonna be like, "I got this. Don't tell me what to do, woman." You won't get that from him, you know. So
I do have a little knowledge myself, but it's such a dreadful angle.
He says, "Please, I have my supplies upstairs. Unless you wish to finish your drink here, we can retire to there and I can see to your wounds. And we'll, of course, exchange stories."
Absolutely.
And he will grab the beverages and we'll walk with you upstairs. However it is you choose to walk with him.
In front of him, waggling her butt expertly.
So anyways, you make your way upstairs with him, and it of course starts off with him trying to tend to the wounds, which don't really need that much tending to because you magically treated them already. But tending to the wounds, which is an excuse, of course, to expose you a little bit more and so on, right? And then kind of like things go from there. You can imagine that Chris Allen very much leads the situation. You're trying to pull information from him now. It's more than just the carnal acts or just conversation. It's legitimately a seduction to pull more info. So why don't you roll me a seduction check to see how successful you are at actually holding that information, pillow talk, as it were.
Sure. God damn it.
It's not terrible by any stretch.
It's not.
Do you want to modify that just to make sure that you get like a good result?
I don't think it's worth it, William. I don't.
I know you're more conservative with this than I am.
And you know it's not exactly like you're not motivating him to speak.
Yeah, I mean it's your call. I'd be fine with it if you did, to be honest.
I think he likes me well enough that my DCs on him are probably pretty low.
I'm hoping so, but as I say, it's up to you. Like I'm okay with it if you choose to, or if you choose not to. Like I'm right in that middle ground right now with it. So
I'm gonna not look it. I'm gonna roll with my 13. Maybe I'm wincing as I ask, and it's not cute.
No, actually, so again, 13 was able to be successful before, which is challenging. Was you able to be successful before you were getting a bit more involved? You're able to pull more information from him, of course, that kind of like prior to and during the beginning parts of your acts with one another when conversation is a bit more fluid back and forth between the two of you. In your conversations, you actually learn that they were stationed down south. He was honest about that. They were heading up north because they were actually supposed to go in. This is a large group of soldiers that was actually coming to the front lines to go and assist on the front lines to really start pushing back Paradel. But then, unfortunately, they found out that Malta was, some of the soldiers in Malta were crossing the lines, were crossing the boundaries into this nation, and they were taking slaves and bringing them back over the border into Malta, which is very, very much a breach of the contract between Jovance and Malta. So some soldiers were choosing to come over the border to steal slaves and bring them back into Malta. Of course, from his perspective, is Malta always trying to steal our slaves, pretending like that they don't have them over there, just keeping them quiet. In your mind, you're thinking they're probably people just trying to free them, maybe being goodly. You don't know, of course, the situation.
But outwardly, she's saying things like, our wine would be nowhere without our servants, blah, blah, blah.
Sim's too loud for music. Sorry, turn it down. So yeah, so this is kind of like the conversation that you guys are having and discovering this. And so he's bringing his, and he hasn't given you a number by any stretch at the end of this, but he does actually tell you that it's a large group of soldiers that they were bringing to the front lines that were just redirected to head west instead to go handle the Tricon area over there.
She'll be bigging him up huge. She'll be like, oh my gosh, you're so smart. That's so brave. Of course, it's a nothing idea to somebody as smart and strong as you, blah, blah, blah.
Gotcha.
And by the end of it, they're sitting, she like, without words, coaxed him into sitting on his bed, her feet in his crotch, him rubbing her feet, and his feet coming around her legs and her rubbing his feet. They're like, they're
Having a cute moment. I imagine there's bathing before foot rubbing. His feet are gross.
Bathing
man.
happens in the morning.
Feet are gross. Ew. Ugh. Whatever, that's fine. I am not a foot person, to be clear. So
I am also not.
Which is why you're the perfect person to run onlyfeet.com.
Right? Because I'd be like, oh God, what am I doing?
You won't get high on your own supply.
What am I doing with my life? Ah!
I don't know, maybe it would convert me. I'm like, I don't know. Have you seen some of these feet, man? You seen some of these feet? You know what I'm saying?
I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to get it.
Taste. Just
like,
you know what I mean?
Those toes. God, they're so dainty. Ah! Like I don't know if people
photos of my toes.
Actually, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Will actually waxes his toes. It's what he likes. Let's not shame him.
I wax my toes.
I have really hairy feet.
I also have hairy feet. I have to wax them.
I don't, but they are hairy enough that I probably should.
I mean, obviously get hair on the knuckles of the toes, right? But more importantly, like 3 or 4 of my toes have fungus that has never gone away since all the years in restaurants, and the bottom of my feet are just like cracks. Ugh. Just nothing but calluses and cracks. I could really use. I
could whip your shit into shape. I guarantee you I could.
I need like 6 months of getting, periodic or whatever.
1 fucking week.
Oh God. Oh, it just sounds painful. Yeah. Not to mention, I have plantar fasciitis in both my feet, so like touching my feet or massaging them actually can be very, very painful. Because if my
I'm
plantar
not
fascia,
talking about massaging.
Yeah, you're talking about the skin.
I'm talking about grooming them.
Like, I tried it before a long time ago, doing the scraping with the stone, the pumice stone or whatever it's called before, and honestly, it was very uncomfortable. I was like, I don't like this.
Oh, it's not a pleasant experience, but it's not meant to be necessarily.
I wouldn't do that. But I could whip your feet into shape for sure.
She's like, Scott, I don't use a pumice stone. I get a vegetable peeler.
I use my
see, there's this sanding grinder, and that's what we're gonna use.
A belt sander.
A belt sander.
Just creams and home remedies, man. Just like salt scrubs and stuff. It's really not that hard.
It's not.
Sounds like a lot of work. Listen, I get yelled at by my wife because my knuckles, I don't know if you can see how like white and ashy they are.
Yeah, why don't you moisturize, you ding dong?
Because I'm like, I always forget, and she'll literally like, I don't have one now, but she usually leaves like a bottle of moisturizer, like a hand lotion on my desk for me, and then I'm like, I'm gonna take this out of my office because if somebody comes into my office and sees a bottle of hand lotion right next to a 3-4 monitor setup, I just don't want, like. So she's just like.
As long as it's not beside a VR headset, you're fine, really.
I've never tried a VR headset, but I bet that could be fun. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Mind you, OnlyFeet.com is VR compatible.
Break the wrist and walk away. Break the wrist and walk away.
Oh, God. Let's move on. So, Doxy, in the morning, because obviously you spend the night there, you had mentioned this many times beforehand, it's part of Chrysalin's full service. She likes to be there in the morning. She likes to be part of the actual bathing, whatever that transpires, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Why don't you go ahead and roll me one last seduction to try to get any further information out of him? Because obviously
Sure thing, boss.
that's the way that she finishes things out. I just, knowing what you do.
I'm gonna lock it.
Jeez.
You roll 4 across the board with the Lux. It's ridiculous.
I really do. I don't know what's up.
You're
I never
lucky.
have as good of luck in any game as I do in this one.
So anyways, you with your 15 total, you want to do anything with that one stunt for this is exploration or role play? You can choose either of those, and that way you can impact what you might be able to get.
Sure, 1 second.
Sure.
Oh, the bone mole.
Yep. One more.
Which that one's what again? Please remind me.
You tag the perfect witty remark onto the end of your action, affecting all those who hear it that much more deeply. If you can't think of one, the rest of the players and GM quickly brainstorm options and you choose among them. Word of your wit is likely to spread for good or ill.
Okay. So you more or less you just are a little extra flirty or whatever it is with him and try to get more information. The information you get is kind of one of those you could ask like more about what's happening in the fork. And they finish by saying, like, why did this happen? Because Amulta and, Yovans have been allies for a long time. Why is this happening? And they tell you, like, it's not just, he's like, it's not just the gall of these, of the Amultis, of these, stiff-backed, stick-and-ass, schmucks. It's not just that, that they're coming and stealing the slaves that we have. Beyond that, they're literally working to aid a slave rebellion. There's a slaver that happens to, there's a rebellion that's trying to flare up in that area over there. A man by the name of Icarus, better buck, I don't know, something. And he's really been causing a bit of a thorn in the side. And the Amultis have been aiding them.
Can you imagine keeping such company? Trying to work with them.
No, I can't even imagine.
May you slay down as many as I keep.
And then kind of like, I don't know if there's any other RP you wanted to have with the guy.
She'll just she wants to leave a very good impression on him in case they run into each other again. So it'll just be like very flirty, like keep an eye on the mail. Perhaps my father will try to wed me off to a settlement as well, stuff like that.
So do me a favor, just for funsies to satisfy your curiosity. In Twitch chat, Doxy, you can write ! roll number 4 hot, ROLL number 4 HOTT. We can roll for his hotness, the 3d6. Oh.
He's not very cute.
Not very cute.
You got a 7 out of 18.
That's okay.
Yeah.
She's been with worse.
I know.
I mean, she's
We've
been on
seen
the
Oscar.
road with Oscar for a while, so
I thought when we rolled for Oscar's hotness, he turned out to be pretty hot.
I mean,
Like
Yeah.
above average hot.
like,
I mean-
yeah, like I think we rolled 14 for him.
we all know what he looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, you can, you say the words, he responds, and you're able to kind of go off on your own way. Oscar, for you with the guards, because I know you weren't interrogating that man tonight, correct me if I'm wrong, you weren't interrogating him. You just wanted to make sure that he gets through it.
Yeah. Sorry, no, go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry, I was just confirming.
I just need you to roll for me. This is I believe it's communications
Should be
for you, which I know isn't your best. Give me one second. Yeah, it's leadership. Communications leadership, just kind of like command that situation that's inside there. And I won't lie, I really hope that you get that as a focus in the future.
Oh, that's the plan. That's next off level, which is coming up. I'll be pulling leadership as a focus. And actually, I think because Oscar's kind of learning from Cursellan, next level up, he's probably taking a point in communication to make it slightly less bad, because it's currently -1. Less bad would be 0. So
he could be giving you like etiquette lessons at night. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea. And like,
if he pressed her about it, then she would absolutely be like, "This one's the fork, the dinner fork." Not
No, the fork is when you have an ally of yours and you split off. You have your enemy between the two of you. It's a flanking position, but it's not just flanking. What it actually is.
It's a diversion position specifically. But
did you want to luck that?
I don't think we have any more in the pool.
Let's try.
But it might be worth trying on this one just to try and keep this guy alive. Especially if there are Yovant soldiers in there. What do you think, Mallory? Sorry.
Try for it if you like.
Okay. All right, we'll give it a go. Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry.
All right.
I was watching the whole time to see if I had to click it last second, just in case. So the soldiers, it's one of those things where, you try to go in there and I intend to investigate him. It's our estate that he attacked and so on. So they're just, you're not trying to be overt, but very much trying to make sure that you are getting there. And they will listen to you that you do want to investigate him. However, do you remember the commander that you had seen beforehand? The lieutenant or whatever that you had seen beforehand? He's like, I appreciate what you're saying, but if you're not going to investigate him now, I'm going to have to.
I'm fine with you investigating him as well. I just need him around the next day to investigate him as well, to pull a little bit further information. That's it. I have no problem with you taking any lead on this at all.
Don't worry, he will definitely be around to see justice. Both of them will be. The only problem is the damage to the estate. It was damage to an estate that currently has no owner, just an executrix. I'd have to actually brush up on the law to see if she gets to determine which punishment, or if it goes to falls to our responsibility, as it's.
Generally speaking, and this is broad terms, but from my understanding, if an executrix doesn't have the control over the estate in full, that would be slightly concerning, wouldn't it? Isn't that part of the...
But this is a criminal matter, so
it is, but it's still an effect on the estate, and if the estate decisions
as I said, I'm not very
made...
familiar with this kind of thing. It doesn't happen too often.
No. I understand either way. What if an owner were to be established for the estate prior to sentencing?
Oh, then absolutely, they would take full responsibility as always.
Right. Okay. Well, I think unfortunately, we've obviously been hindered with the investigation now in terms of into the final documentation, but, and this is just a piece of information on the side that I shouldn't necessarily share, but I mean, hey, we're trying to work together here. I believe we are going to have an owner of the estate within the coming days here. So if they're alive within that time, it would be helpful so that the owner of the estate can make that judgment.
As I said, they'll be alive either way.
Good. One of them has a spear hole in his leg. It's been healed over mostly with magics, but might want to just double check on that just in case he has to lose the leg.
Nods. And again, you kind of have an impact on what it is that they're going to do while they're there. But they overall, they're going to do them. You're going to do you. It's all good.
Yeah, as long as they're there, that's really all I wanted to check. I actually do want them leading the investigation more than anything. Like in terms of our end, we just need to be able to ask them questions. I actually kind of want to distance ourselves from that to some extent, at least from just being the people who murdered a bunch of Paradel soldiers in town. It's good that we can have some impact, but I don't know what actions Chris Ellen's wanting to take. So at this point, having them lead is fine by Oscar. So
cool.
Yeah. So that's fine. He's leaving quite happy with that actually overall.
Awesome. Well, the next morning comes around, and you get rest, but obviously not much rest because you're trying to be involved here. But you get rest, of course, to a degree. Doxy, same idea. She sleeps. When she sleeps deep. And then the two of you, of course, still tired the next day. Why don't we, because the two of you are going to reconvene to talk the next day. And again, checking on Laszlo. He's hurt. And so he's like, I just need time. And even if with Priscilla trying to offer, like, I can magically heal, it's like one of those, I just need time. Because he's thinking about, like, spells he had to use, what he had to do. It's one of those, it has a little bit of an impact on Laszlo.
Emotional fatigue as much as physical.
Of course. Why don't we take a quick break? I brewed coffee before we started. Chat, you're going to hate this. Ready for this? I really want a coffee because I'm tired as a motherfucker. Really want a coffee, but Brittany, from what I understood, was already in bed before she got back up to go get Rory's little blanket. So I didn't ask her to make coffee. So I was like, shit, I gotta do this fast. We gotta go live. So we had 3 different types of coffee that had like almost no grounds left in them, and I was like, I mixed all 3 of them. I have no idea what kind of horrible swill is upstairs waiting for me, and I drink my coffee black, no sugar, so. I have no idea what horror show is waiting for me upstairs.
Maybe a splash of milk today, bud.
I already had ice cream and I'm lactose intolerant, so I'm already in pain.
No, fair.
Yeah.
So surely you have almond milk in the house then.
I have. Hold on. I might. I bought it when COVID first hit and we knew everything was shutting down. I bought 4 containers of stuff that doesn't have to be refrigerated. I can see what that is.
Almond milk is delicious in coffee.
I prefer oat milk, actually, but like it has to. I know it sounds weird.
I've never had oat milk. I've heard that it's awesome.
Oat milk I've ever had from over the counter is garbage. For the sake of like for creamer. But oat milk that I've had from like good cafes, like in if you're in Providence, because I live close to Providence in Boston. There's a place called Borealis, like Aurora Borealis. There's a place called like White Electric, like places like this. If you go there and get a latte with oat milk, because they have, I don't know what they have, why it's different, but it's so fucking good that it makes your latte that much better.
There are good oat milks and there are not good oat milks.
Yeah, I can't find it in a store.
I feel like it's like that with any kind of not dairy milk.
That's definitely the case. I can't help you because it's up in Canada here. I know where to get it. There's 2 grocery stores in particular near me that do really good oat milk. I also shouldn't be doing much dairy, which is why I know about like oat milk and almond milk. I know exactly where to get it here. Can't help you where you are, unfortunately.
Oat milk, does that have to be refrigerated after you buy it? I think it's only after you. No, actually, it does have to be refrigerated.
It's after you purchase. Yeah, you wanna. Yeah,
it's not like almond where you have to open and refrigerate. I think oat milk always has to refrigerate. I was gonna say, actually, could I have you buy whatever you like out there and mail it to me? But never mind, that won't be safe, especially in the summertime.
Yeah, no.
Why don't you just ask the cafe what they use?
I have, but it's a brand that's not on shelves. Yeah.
You can't order online?
It might. You know what? Honestly, maybe. I haven't been to either of those cafes in months, as you can imagine why.
Yeah. Next time you go, ask them, and then you can just Google it there on the spot. See if you can order.
Brittany works near Borealis, so I can have her ask them. So.
There you go.
Anyways, if they're open, they might be open. I don't. Everything's still wonky right now. So.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's take a queer. What?
I was talking to William in chat.
My brother Will?
The other Will.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, Will's really trying to make a character so he could come and be like, I know the other PCs won't do it, but I will. Creepy William. Fucking creepy.